All right, ready to dive into a world where like pixels meet profits.
I like that.
Yeah.
Pixels meet profits.
Today we're exploring AI, Web3, and the Metaverse.
Yeah.
But with a twist,
Okay.
we're going to get laser focused on how you can use this stuff to actually build your brand and make money.
Awesome.
Think of it like a deep dive
Yeah.
into building your own digital empire.
I love it.
All right, so to guide us on this journey,
Right.
we have a fantastic book called How to Create AI, Web3, and Metaverse Branding and Licensing Opportunities.
Yes.
And this is by Mitch and Garrett Jackson.
Yes. Father and son duo.
Very cool. Yeah. I always love seeing family businesses and family collaborations like that.
Yeah.
And you can find this book at mitchjackson.xyz.
It's a fantastic resource.
Now, one of the things that really stood out to me when I was reading this book
Okay.
was the emphasis on licensing.
Mm-hmm.
And not just for big companies,
Right.
but they really hammer home how crucial it is for individual creators, too.
Yeah.
Now, I have to admit, I'm intrigued, but I also need a little convincing here.
Okay.
So tell me, why is licensing such a game changer in this new digital landscape?
Well, I think it's all about ownership, right?
Okay.
Owning and controlling what you create.
Okay.
Whether that's your name, your image, your style, even your voice.
Right.
Licensing is the tool that allows you to leverage these assets,
Okay.
especially in a fast-moving digital space.
Got it.
Imagine licensing your avatar
Okay.
to host virtual events in the metaverse,
Interesting.
or licensing your AI-generated voice
Okay.
for audiobooks.
Yeah.
It's almost like creating multiple versions of yourself that can work for you 24/7.
That's a really interesting way to put it.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of digital avatars,
Right?
this is where it gets a little bit,
Black Mirror-ish.
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm both fascinated and a little bit unsettled, I'll be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
So break it down for me. What are the practical implications of these digital avatars? And is this something that every creator should be thinking about right now?
Well, I think what's so fascinating here is that it's not about replacing you.
Okay.
It's about expanding your reach, your impact. It's about being able to do more in more places
Right.
with, less constraint.
Got it.
Think about this.
Yeah.
Your digital avatar could be giving a presentation in the metaverse
Okay.
while you're on vacation.
That's an interesting visual.
Yeah, right?
Go on.
Or collaborating with other avatars on projects that you wouldn't have time for in the real world.
Right. That's an interesting thought.
It's really about breaking the limits of time and space.
Mm.
And I think what's so cool is the book highlights that this isn't just a fantasy.
Right.
Entertainers are already doing this.
Really?
Yeah.
So this is happening now.
It's happening now. Yeah.
That's pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It's like having a digital twin
It is.
that can basically work, perform, and collaborate on your behalf, even while you sleep.
Oh, I sleep, yeah.
But, okay, let's get practical here.
Right.
How does someone even go about creating a digital avatar? Is it
Yeah.
something you need a team of, like, tech wizards for?
Well, I think the book does a great job of kind of breaking it down
Okay.
into manageable steps.
Okay.
Talking about choosing the right platform,
Right?
considering the level of detail that you want your avatar to have,
Uh-huh.
using motion capture techniques, animation techniques,
Wow.
to really bring that digital self to life.
So it's not just like designing a cool-looking character.
Right. It's much more than that.
There's a whole technical side to this.
For sure.
This is where it feels like it could get,
Complex.
yeah,
Expensive.
yeah,
For sure.
potentially.
Yeah. So how do we address that?
Well, I think the book does a good job of demystifying the process
Okay.
and providing resources for creators at different levels.
Yeah.
It's not about being a tech expert to get started.
Okay. There are platforms,
Yeah.
there are tools that cater to a wide range of budgets and technical skills. And, there's a growing community of developers and designers that specialize in creating these avatars.
Right. So there's support out there.
Yeah, for sure.
That makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah.
All right. So let's say I create this amazing digital avatar.
Okay.
What are some specific licensing opportunities I could explore?
Sure.
Are we talking about big brands here?
It could be,
Yeah.
or are there options for independent creators as well?
Absolutely. The book highlights a range of possibilities.
Okay.
Partnering with brands
Okay.
to create avatar-specific clothing lines or accessories,
Interesting.
licensing your avatar for use in virtual events, games, educational content,
Wow.
And it's not just those big brands.
Okay.
There's a growing market for independent creators
All right.
to license their avatars for use in fan art,
Okay.
merchandise,
Got it.
even as virtual influencers. Virtual influencers.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're really going down the rabbit hole.
I know, right?
Tell me more about that. What does that even mean?
It's a growing trend, right?
Okay.
Imagine your avatar building a following on social media,
Right.
promoting products,
Interesting.
services, collaborating with other virtual influencers.
Yeah.
It's really a whole new frontier for branding and marketing.
Mm.
And the book even talks about connecting your real world brand to your virtual one.
Got it.
Creating a seamless experience for your audience.
So it's like blurring the lines.
It is.
Between the physical and digital world.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's fascinating. And you mentioned earlier AI-generated voices.
Right.
And the book specifically mentions 11labs.io.
Yes.
But I have to admit, I still haven't fully wrapped my head around how AI can actually replicate voices so accurately.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the magic behind that?
Well, it's not magic, but it's pretty close.
Okay.
11labs.io and similar platforms use advanced machine learning algorithms to analyze your voice recordings. They break your voice down into its core components.
Okay.
Pitch, tone, rhythm.
Interested.
And then they use that data to create this synthetic version that can be manipulated and controlled.
So it's like creating a digital blueprint of your voice.
It is.
And then using that to generate new speech.
Yeah.
But in your own unique style.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's incredible.
It is.
Think about the possibilities there.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have your AI voice narrating audiobooks in multiple languages, creating personalized messages for fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Providing voiceovers for videos and animations, all while you're focusing on other aspects of your work.
Exactly.
I mean, this is like...
It's powerful.
Okay, so I'm starting to see the bigger picture here. Licensing your digital assets like your avatar and your voice can essentially create multiple revenue streams for you.
Yep.
It's like having a whole team of digital workers.
It is.
Operating 24/7.
Yeah, I love that visual.
And I think the book really stresses the importance of thinking about these opportunities from the very beginning.
Yeah.
It's encouraging creators to build their brands with licensing in mind.
Absolutely.
Creating assets that are versatile, adaptable, and have the potential to be used across multiple platforms.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's about having that strategic mindset from the start.
It is.
But let's talk about the metaverse for a moment.
Okay.
I mean, it's a term that gets thrown around a lot.
A lot.
But I think a lot of people are still unclear about what it actually is.
Yeah.
And how it's relevant to creators and entrepreneurs.
For sure.
So how does the book define the metaverse?
Well, they define it as this persistent, shared virtual world where people can interact with each other, participate in experiences, and even create and trade digital assets.
Interesting.
It's not just one platform. Okay.
But rather this collection of interconnected platforms and experiences that are still evolving.
So it's like this massive online world, but with a focus on social interaction, creation, and even commerce.
Right.
I mean, it sounds like the ultimate playground.
It is.
For digital creators.
For sure.
But how do you actually build a brand in the metaverse?
Yeah, that's a great question.
It feels so vast and kind of abstract.
It does, but the book dives into this.
Okay.
And talks about the importance of visual identity.
Oh, okay.
Developing engaging content. Building community around your brand.
Got it.
And it emphasizes that the rules of traditional branding still apply in the metaverse.
So it's not just about throwing on a VR headset and hoping for the best.
No, absolutely not. You need a strategy.
You need a solid branding strategy just like you would in the real world.
Exactly.
Are there any examples of brands doing this well in the metaverse right now?
Yeah, there are.
Okay, cool. The book highlights a few, like Nike creating a virtual world called Nike Land.
Interesting.
On the Roblox platform, where users can play games, customize their avatars with Nike gear.
Got it.
Even attend virtual events.
So they're bringing their brand.
Yeah, their brand into that space.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And then there's Sotheby's.
Okay.
The famous auction house.
Yep.
They've created a virtual replica of their London galleries.
Wow.
In the metaverse, where users can browse and bid on digital art.
That's incredible.
It is.
So it's not just like gaming and entertainment.
It's everything. It's art. It's commerce. Yeah.
So brands are really starting to experiment and innovate in the metaverse.
Absolutely.
But what about smaller creators and businesses?
Right.
I mean, do they have a chance to compete?
I think they do.
Okay.
The metaverse is still in its early stages.
Right.
The playing field is relatively level.
The book emphasizes that anyone with a creative vision and a willingness to learn can build a brand in the metaverse.
So it's about
finding your niche, connecting with your audience, providing value.
Got it. Okay. I'm feeling inspired.
Good.
But let's be realistic for a moment here.
Okay.
I mean, building a brand in the metaverse.
Yeah.
Creating digital avatars, licensing your voice.
Right.
All of this sounds amazing. But it also seems like there could be a lot of potential pitfalls.
Sure.
What are some of the challenges that creators need to be aware of?
Well, I think the book does a great job of addressing the challenges.
Okay.
It talks about the importance of protecting your intellectual property, navigating the legal side of things in the metaverse, being mindful of the ethical considerations.
Let's dive into that a little bit deeper.
Sure.
Intellectual property protection in the digital world.
Right.
Feels like a minefield to me.
It can.
Where do you even begin?
Well, I think understanding the basics is key, right?
Okay.
Copyrights, trademarks, patents.
Yeah.
The book encourages creators to register
their
trademarks, their copyrights.
Got it.
Use clear licensing agreements and seek legal advice when needed.
So it's about being proactive?
It is.
And protecting your creative work?
Absolutely.
But what about the ethical considerations?
Okay.
I mean, are there any specific ethical concerns that are unique to the metaverse and these new technologies?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the book highlights data privacy.
Okay.
Inclusivity.
Right.
And the potential for misuse of AI.
Yeah, those are big ones.
Yeah.
So how do we address those?
Well, the book encourages creators to be transparent about how they collect and use data.
Okay, so transparency is key.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Create inclusive experiences that are accessible to everyone.
Right, yeah, inclusivity is so important.
And use AI in a responsible and ethical way.
So it's not just about building a brand and making money. It's about being a responsible member of the digital community.
Yeah.
And thinking about the broader impact of your actions.
Absolutely.
And I think the book makes a really important point.
Right.
That these ethical considerations are not just the responsibility of individual creators.
Right.
But also of the platforms and companies that are shaping the metaverse.
Yeah, it's a collective responsibility.
So it's a collective effort.
It is.
To build a metaverse that is both innovative and ethical.
Exactly.
I love that. It's exciting to be part of this conversation.
It is.
And to see how these new technologies are shaping the future of creativity and entrepreneurship.
Yeah, absolutely.
But before we get too far ahead of ourselves,
right,
let's take a step back and focus on one of the foundational elements of this whole digital empire building process.
Okay.
And that is understanding how NFTs fit into the picture. NFTs, yeah.
Yeah, they're everywhere, right?
I mean, they seem to be everywhere these days.
Yep.
But I think a lot of people are still unclear.
Yeah, for sure.
About what they actually are.
Right.
And how they can be used effectively.
Absolutely.
So let's break it down. What exactly is an NFT?
Okay, well, NFT stands for non-fungible token.
Okay.
It's a unique digital asset that's verified and recorded on a blockchain, which is basically like a digital ledger.
Got it.
Unlike traditional digital files.
Right.
Which can be copied infinitely.
Yeah.
NFTs are one of a kind.
Okay.
And can be bought, sold, and traded like physical collectibles.
So they're like digital deeds of ownership.
Yeah.
Proving that you own something unique and authentic.
Exactly. And because they're based on that blockchain technology,
right,
the ownership history is transparent and verifiable.
Okay.
So it's really ideal for creating and selling those digital collectibles.
Got it.
Authenticating artwork, building new business models around digital ownership.
This is where it gets really interesting for me. The book talks about how NFTs can be used to build those deeper relationships with fans.
Yeah.
And create new revenue streams for creators.
Absolutely.
So can you give us some specific examples?
Sure.
Of how this is being done?
Well, musicians are releasing limited edition albums as NFTs, which fans can then collect, trade, resell.
Interesting. Okay.
Artists are selling their artwork as NFTs, which allows them to earn royalties every time the artwork is resold.
Wow, that's a game changer.
It is.
So it's not just
a one-time sale.
Yeah, it's not just that initial sale.
Yeah.
You can continue to benefit.
Yeah, absolutely.
As that piece of art appreciates.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
And then some creators are using NFTs to give fans exclusive access to content, experiences, even voting rights in their creative projects.
So they're like building a whole new economy around digital ownership and fan engagement. Wow, that's really innovative. But let's talk about Web3 for a moment.
Okay.
Another one of those buzzwords that gets thrown around a lot.
A lot.
And I think a lot of people are still struggling to understand what it actually means and how it's different from the internet we use today.
For sure.
So at its core, what is Web3 all about?
Web3 is all about decentralization.
Okay.
It's about shifting control of the internet away from those centralized platforms.
Got it.
Like Facebook and Google.
Okay.
And putting it back in the hands of users.
So it's like taking back control of our data, our privacy, our online experiences.
Absolutely.
Okay, so how does Web3 actually do that?
Well, it utilizes blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, and other decentralized technologies to create a more open, transparent, and equitable internet.
So it's a different way of building and interacting with the internet.
Yeah.
And it's still early days.
Very.
But the potential impact is huge.
Yeah.
Especially for creators.
Absolutely.
The book talks about Web3 as being a game changer for creators.
Yeah, for sure.
So can you explain why that is?
Sure.
What specific opportunities does Web3 offer that traditional platforms don't?
Well, in a Web3 world, creators can interact directly with their fans.
Okay, so cutting out the middleman.
Absolutely. Build communities, monetize their content without having to rely on those intermediaries.
So you're not subject to the algorithms and the rules of the big platforms.
Exactly. And they can use NFTs to create new forms of digital ownership and fan engagement.
Right. And because Web3 is built on transparency, it can really help creators establish trust and authenticity.
Absolutely.
This is where it feels like we're on the cusp of a major shift in the power dynamics of the internet.
It is.
Creators have more control, more ownership, more direct access to their audiences.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it.
It's incredibly exciting. But how do we make it happen?
Well, the book does a great job of breaking down those complex concepts of Web3 into these manageable pieces. It provides a clear roadmap for creators who want to understand and leverage the potential of this new digital frontier.
So that's what we need is a guide to help us navigate the complexities and unlock the opportunities.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's bring it back to the practical side of things.
Right.
How can creators actually start building their brands and monetizing their content in this Web3 world?
Well, the book highlights several strategies. Creating and selling NFTs. Building communities using DAOs.
DAOs.
Yep.
Okay, now we're getting into the acronym soup.
I know.
So for those of us who are not familiar, what is a DAO?
A DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization.
Okay, that explains it.
It's basically a community-owned and governed organization that operates on a blockchain.
So it's like a digital cooperative.
It is.
Where everyone has a voice and a stake in the success of the project.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so for creators, what are the benefits of using DAOs?
Well, they offer a powerful way to engage fans, build loyalty, and co-create content. The book provides examples of musicians, artists, filmmakers, using DAOs to fund projects, distribute their work, even give fans a say in that creative direction.
That's incredible. It's like turning your fans into collaborators.
Let's talk about the financial side of things for a moment. How do creators actually make money in the Web3 world? Are we just talking about selling NFTs?
NFTs are a big part of it. But there's some other exciting revenue models.
Like what?
Well, there are things like tokenized communities where members pay to join these exclusive online communities.
Subscription-based content platforms powered by blockchain technology, play-to-earn games where players can earn cryptocurrency.
Wow. It sounds like a whole new world of financial opportunities is opening up for creators.
It is.
But let's be realistic for a moment.
Sure.
Not every creator is going to become a millionaire.
Of course not.
In the Web3 world. What are some of the challenges and potential downsides that creators need to be aware of?
Well, you're right. It's important to be realistic.
Yeah.
The Web3 world is very much in its early stages.
Right.
There are definitely challenges and risks involved.
Okay.
The book talks about volatility of cryptocurrency markets.
Right.
The potential for scams.
Yeah, that's a big one.
And fraud. And, just this constant need to adapt and learn.
So it's not a get-rich-quick scheme.
It's not, no.
It requires hard work, dedication, a willingness to embrace the unknown, and to be constantly learning and evolving.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a really important message, that building a successful brand in the Web3 world.
Right.
Just like in the traditional world.
It takes time.
Yeah.
It takes effort. A solid strategy.
And it's not just about chasing the latest trends.
No, it's not.
It's about building a sustainable business.
Right.
With a long-term vision.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great point to end this part on.
Okay.
Building a lasting digital empire.
Right.
Requires more than just jumping on the latest trends.
It does.
It requires careful planning.
Yes.
A deep understanding of the technology.
Absolutely.
And a commitment to creating value for your audience.
For sure. One thing that really struck me in the book was the emphasis on creating a brand that's not just about selling products or services, but about building a genuine community.
Right.
It's about fostering this sense of connection, shared values.
That's so important, especially in the digital world where it's so easy to feel disconnected.
Yeah.
But how do you actually translate those principles into a tangible strategy, especially in the Web3 world?
Well, I think it boils down to leveraging the unique tools and opportunities that Web3 offers.
Okay.
One example is using DAOs to create these decentralized communities where members have a real stake in the direction and success of the project.
So instead of just having passive followers on social media, you're creating active participants who are invested in your brand's journey.
Absolutely.
That's a powerful concept.
It is.
And it goes beyond just financial investment, right?
It does.
DAOs can be used to facilitate creative collaboration, decision-making, even content creation.
So it's really about empowering your community to become co-creators of your brand.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really innovative. But let's talk about the metaverse for a moment.
I mean, it's still a concept that's evolving.
It is.
And I think a lot of creators are wondering how to approach it strategically.
Yeah.
Should they be rushing to build virtual worlds?
Right.
Or is it better to wait and see how things develop?
I think the book provides a balanced perspective on this, acknowledging that it's still early, a lot of uncertainty, but it also encourages creators to start exploring, experimenting now, get a feel for the possibility.
Right, so it's about dipping your toes in the water, learning as you go, not being afraid to experiment.
Absolutely.
That feels less daunting than trying to build an entire metaverse empire overnight.
It does, yeah.
So what are some small-scale experiments that creators can start with?
Well, they suggest starting with things like hosting a virtual event, creating a digital asset that can be used in the metaverse.
Got it.
And it really emphasizes understanding the specific platforms and communities that are emerging and tailoring your strategy accordingly.
So it's not just about jumping into any virtual world.
Right. It's about finding the right fit. For your brand, your audience.
What are some of the key platforms and communities that creators should be aware of?
Well, the book highlights several. Digital Land, the Sandbox, Somnium Space.
Right.
These are all decentralized metaverse platforms that allow users to create, own, and monetize their virtual experiences. And then there are more centralized platforms like Roblox and Fortnite, which already have those millions of users.
Yeah, those are big ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a diverse landscape, and it's evolving quickly.
It is.
Sounds like there's something for everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's also important to choose wisely.
Absolutely.
And focus your efforts on the platforms that align with your brand and your goals. But let's bring it back to the practical side of things again. How can creators actually monetize their content? And build a sustainable business in the metaverse?
Well, the book outlines several revenue models.
Like what?
Things like selling virtual real estate. Creating and selling digital assets.
Like what kind of digital assets?
Avatars.
Okay.
Virtual clothing.
Interesting.
hosting virtual events, experiences.
Right.
Even offering virtual services like consulting or education.
So it's not just about creating cool virtual worlds.
Right.
It's about building a viable business within those worlds.
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the legal and ethical side of things for a moment.
Okay.
I mean, Metaverse presents a whole new set of challenges.
It does.
In terms of intellectual property protection,
right.
data privacy, responsible AI development.
So how do we navigate that?
Well, the book dives into these issues.
And stresses the importance of creators understanding their rights and responsibilities.
Okay.
Especially when it comes to protecting their IP.
But how do you even protect your intellectual property?
Yeah, it's...
in a virtual world where things can be copied,
right.
replicated so easily.
Yeah, and the legal framework is still evolving.
Right.
But the book does a great job of providing an overview of the current legal landscape.
Yeah.
Offers practical advice on how to protect your work.
Like what?
Using blockchain technology to register and verify ownership of those digital assets.
Okay.
Clear licensing agreements.
Right.
And, of course, seeking legal counsel when needed.
So it's about being proactive.
It is.
Doing your research and seeking expert advice.
Absolutely.
But what about the ethical considerations?
Yeah.
The metaverse has the potential
it does.
to be an incredible force for good.
Right.
But it also presents some unique ethical challenges.
It does.
So how do we make sure we're using this technology responsibly?
Well, the book encourages creators to think deeply about the ethical implications of their work.
Okay.
It talks about creating inclusive and accessible experiences,
right,
ensuring data privacy and security, and being mindful of that potential impact of AI on human behavior and society.
So it's not just about building a brand.
It's not making money.
It's about building a metaverse that
Wow.
is ethical, responsible, and benefits everyone.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's a really powerful message.
It is.
That we're not just building businesses, we're building a future.
Yeah, exactly.
And with all these incredible opportunities, it's easy to get caught up in the excitement.
Right.
The potential for financial success.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember that we have a responsibility to use these technologies for good.
Absolutely.
To make a positive impact on the world.
For sure.
So with that in mind,
what are some practical steps that creators can take today to start building their digital empires?
Well, I think it starts with understanding your brand, your audience, and your goals.
Right. So it's about having a solid foundation.
It is.
Just like you would with any business venture.
Absolutely. And then the book encourages creators to start exploring and experimenting with the tools and platforms that are available.
Okay. So what are some concrete things people can do?
Well, create a crypto wallet.
Okay.
Buy some NFTs.
All right.
Join a DAO.
Okay.
And just start learning how these technologies work.
So it's about taking action.
It is.
Diving in.
Yeah.
Not being afraid to make mistakes.
Exactly.
But let's talk about the financial side of things.
Okay.
Building a digital empire requires investment.
For sure.
Both in terms of time and money.
Absolutely.
So what are some of the financial considerations that creators need to be aware of?
Well, the book provides a realistic perspective on this. Talks about budgeting, managing your finances wisely, being prepared for that volatility of the cryptocurrency market.
So it's not just about chasing the next big NFT sale.
Right. It's about building a sustainable business. With a long-term vision.
Exactly.
And it's about diversifying your income streams. Exploring multiple revenue models and being strategic about your investments.
That's great advice for any entrepreneur.
It is.
Whether they're operating in the digital world or the physical world.
Right, exactly.
But let's focus specifically on AI for a moment.
Okay.
It's a technology that has the potential to revolutionize the creative process.
It does.
But it's also one that raises a lot of questions and concerns.
Sure.
So how does the book address that?
Well, it dedicates a significant portion to exploring the role of AI in the creative process. Acknowledges the potential benefits. You know, it's the ability to automate tasks.
Generate ideas.
Create
new forms of art and entertainment. But it also delves into those ethical implications, especially when it comes to bias, job displacement, and the ownership of that AI-generated content.
So it's about finding the right balance.
It is.
Between harnessing the power of AI.
Right.
And ensuring that it's used responsibly and ethically.
Absolutely.
And recognizing that AI is a tool.
It is.
And like any tool,
yeah,
it can be used for good or for bad.
Right.
So it's really up to us
Yeah.
as creators and as a society
right.
to ensure that it's used in a way that benefits everyone.
For sure.
It's a great point. But let's talk about something that's been on my mind lately.
Go.
Digital fashion.
Okay.
It's an industry that's exploded in recent years.
It has.
And it seems to be deeply intertwined.
It is.
With the rise of the metaverse.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's the connection there?
Well, digital fashion is one of the most exciting sectors
Okay.
of the metaverse economy. Yeah, and it's not just about
No.
creating cool virtual outfits.
Right.
It's about redefining the way we think about fashion,
Absolutely.
identity, self-expression in the digital world.
Exactly.
So it's not just about replicating physical fashion.
Right. It's about creating something new.
Yeah.
Unique.
And it's becoming a big business.
It is huge.
The book talks about luxury brands like Gucci and Balenciaga.
Right.
Creating virtual fashion lines. Selling them for thousands of dollars.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's mind-blowing. But how does this translate to the average creator or entrepreneur?
Yeah, good question.
Is there a way to participate
I think so.
in this booming digital fashion market
I think so.
without having a big brand name behind you?
Yeah. The book emphasizes that the market is still relatively open,
Okay.
accessible.
That's great news.
Yeah.
But where do you even begin?
Okay.
What are some of the platforms and resources?
Well, they highlight platforms like
Right.
PressX, the dematerialized replicant,
Okay.
which allow creators to design, showcase, and sell their creations.
So there are specific platforms dedicated to digital fashion.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and the book also highlights resources,
Okay.
like the Institute of Digital Fashion,
Interesting.
which provides education and support.
So there's like a whole ecosystem
There is.
emerging around digital fashion.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But how does designing digital fashion differ from designing physical fashion?
Yeah, good question.
Are there any specific skills
Yeah.
or knowledge that creators need to develop?
Well, the book talks about 3D modeling software,
Okay.
digital textiles, understanding the technical aspects of creating virtual garments that can be worn by avatars.
So it's a blend of
It is.
traditional fashion design principles and cutting-edge digital technology.
Absolutely.
And it requires a different way of thinking about design.
It does. Right.
You have to consider how it moves and interacts with light in a virtual environment.
Yeah, how it's going to look on different avatar bodies.
How it can be customized, personalized.
It sounds like a whole new set of creative challenges, possibilities.
Absolutely.
But how do designers actually make money?
Well, selling virtual garments is a big part of it.
Okay.
But the book also highlights other emerging business models.
Okay. Like what?
Licensing designs to brands.
Okay.
Metaverse platforms offering consulting services. Even creating and selling digital fashion NFTs.
So it's a really dynamic
It is.
and rapidly evolving industry with a lot of potential for growth.
Absolutely.
But as with any new industry, there are bound to be challenges and potential pitfalls.
For sure.
So what are some of the things that digital fashion designers need to be aware of as they navigate this new frontier? Well, the book addresses intellectual property protection.
Right. Yeah, that's a big one.
Ethical considerations around representation and inclusivity.
Right. Making sure it's accessible and inclusive for everyone.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then, of course, the need to stay ahead of the curve in terms of technological advancement.
So it's not just about creating beautiful virtual garments.
Right.
It's about building a responsible and sustainable business.
Yeah.
In a rapidly evolving landscape.
For sure.
And recognizing that digital fashion, it's not just a trend.
No, it's
a cultural phenomenon.
It is.
That is shaping the way we think about identity, self-expression, and the future of fashion itself.
Exactly.
That's a powerful statement. But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about something that I think is often overlooked in the excitement of building these digital empires.
Right.
And that is the importance of protecting yourself.
Absolutely.
Legally.
Yeah.
And ethically.
Yeah.
The digital landscape can be a bit like the Wild West, right?
It can.
With new technologies and platforms emerging all the time.
Right.
And the legal and ethical frameworks kind of struggling to keep up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what are some of the key areas that creators need to focus on in terms of legal and ethical protection?
Well, the book provides a good overview of those key legal considerations. Intellectual property rights, data privacy, contract law.
So it's really about being proactive.
It is.
Doing your research, seeking legal counsel.
When needed,
And it's also about building a strong ethical foundation for your brand. The book emphasizes transparency, honesty, integrity, in all of your dealings.
So it's about being a good digital citizen.
It is,
That's great advice. And it's a reminder that building a successful digital empire isn't just about profits.
And growth. It's about building a brand that people trust and respect.
Absolutely.
And recognizing that the choices we make today, both as creators and as consumers, will shape the future of this digital world.
For sure.
That's a powerful thought. It's a call to action for all of us.
It is.
To use these new technologies responsibly and ethically. To create a digital world that is both innovative and equitable.
I agree.
So what are some specific steps that creators can take to protect themselves legally and ethically in the Web3 world?
Well, the book provides a nice little checklist.
Okay, cool.
Reviewing and updating your website's terms of service, privacy policy, ensuring you have clear licensing agreements for any content you create or share.
Being mindful of those potential risks and ethical considerations associated with those emerging technologies. For sure.
Like AI and blockchain.
Absolutely.
That's a great starting point. It's a reminder that building a sustainable digital empire requires not only creative vision, but also a solid legal and ethical foundation.
I agree.
And it's about recognizing that legal and ethical considerations aren't just obstacles.
They're not.
To overcome.
They're opportunities to build a stronger, more responsible and impactful brand.
I love that. It's about seeing them as integral parts of the creative process, not as afterthoughts. And it's about embracing the responsibility that comes with being a creator in the digital age.
I agree.
We have the power to shape the future.
We do.
Of this digital world. And it's up to us to use that power wisely and ethically.
I love that.
That's a great note to end on.
Okay.
It's a reminder that we're not just building brands. We're building a future.
And the choices that we make today will determine the kind of digital world we create for ourselves and for future generations.
I agree.
You know, as we've been talking about all these incredible opportunities in the digital world, it's easy to get caught up in the excitement and the potential for financial success. But this book also emphasizes something that I think is often overlooked. The importance of using these technologies for good. To make a positive impact on the world.
Absolutely.
And they highlight some really inspiring examples of creators and entrepreneurs who are using AI, Web3, and the Metaverse to address social issues, promote sustainability.
It's really cool.
To empower communities. It's a powerful reminder that these technologies can be used to create a better future.
They can.
Not just to build bigger businesses.
Exactly.
Can you share some of those examples with us?
Sure.
I'd love to hear how creators are using their platforms and their influence to make a difference.
Absolutely. One example that really resonated with me was the story of a group of artists who created an NFT collection to raise funds for environmental conservation efforts.
So they're using NFTs
to
support a cause.
They use the proceeds from the sale to support organizations working to protect endangered species and combat climate change.
That's a fantastic example of how NFTs can be used to drive positive social impact.
It's not just about...
It's not just about creating digital collectibles.
No, it's not.
It's about using the technology to support causes you believe in.
Exactly. And there are other inspiring examples as well. The book talks about how some creators are using the Metaverse to build virtual worlds that promote inclusivity and accessibility.
So making it
accessible for everyone.
Allowing people from all walks of life to connect and interact in ways that might not be possible in the physical world. That's incredibly powerful. It's about breaking down barriers and creating opportunities for everyone to participate in the digital world.
Absolutely.
But let's talk about AI for a moment. I mean, it's a technology that has the potential to solve some of the world's most pressing problems.
It does.
But it also comes with its own set of ethical challenges.
Right.
So how do we navigate that?
Well, the book talks about developing AI in a responsible and ethical way, ensuring that it's used to benefit humanity, not to harm it.
Right, so it's not just about building the most advanced AI system.
No, it's not.
It's about building AI systems that align with our values and our vision for a better future.
Exactly.
And recognizing that AI is not a silver bullet.
Right, it's not.
Solution to all the world's problems.
Yeah, it's a tool.
Yeah.
It can be used for good or bad.
Right, and it's up to us to ensure that it's used for good.
It is.
That's a great point. But let's bring you back to the individual creator for a moment.
Okay.
What are some practical steps that creators can take to ensure that their work in the digital world is ethical and aligned with their values?
The book provides a helpful framework.
Okay.
It encourages creators to ask themselves a few key questions.
Right, like what?
What is the purpose of this project?
Okay.
Who will benefit from it?
Got it.
What are the potential risks?
Okay.
What are the ethical implications?
Right, so really thinking through.
Thinking it through.
Yeah.
And then how can I mitigate those risks?
Yeah.
How can I ensure that my work is aligned with my values?
Those are great questions to consider. It's about being intentional, thoughtful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Taking the time to reflect on the potential impact of your work.
It is.
And recognizing that building a successful brand,
right,
it's not just about financial success.
It's not.
It's about building a brand that stands for something.
It is.
That makes a positive contribution to the world.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into this incredible book,
yeah,
what is the one message you hope listeners take away from this conversation?
That the future isn't predetermined.
Yeah.
It's something that we're creating right now.
Yeah.
Through the choices we make, the technologies we develop, the stories we tell.
And it's up to all of us to shape that future.
It is.
In a way that is both innovative and equitable.
Yes.
Prosperous and sustainable.
I love that.
That's a powerful message. It's a call to action for all of us.
It is.
To embrace the possibilities of the digital world.
Right.
While also recognizing our responsibility.
Yeah.
To create a future that benefits everyone.
I agree.
And I think this book provides an incredible roadmap.
It does.
For how to do just that.
Absolutely. It's a practical guide.
Yeah.
Filled with insights, strategies, and inspiration for anyone who wants to build a successful and impactful brand in this age of AI, Web3, and the Metaverse.
Well, on that note,
I
want to thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive.
It's been my pleasure.
It's been an enlightening conversation, and I'm walking away feeling inspired and empowered to create my own digital empire.
Awesome.
One that is both profitable and purposeful.
I love it.
And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in.
Yes, thank you.
Remember, the future is waiting to be created.
It is.
What will you build?